spend 3 hours staring at a blank screen. Your phone sits on the desk, completely silent. You tell yourself you don't care. You tell yourself you're done. Then it vibrates. A single low-effort text message lands, and instantly, a wave of pure, addictive electricity hits your chest. Your mood goes from 0 to 100 in a fraction of a second. Now, contrast that with the other person in your life. The one who always replies within 2 minutes. The one who is consistently kind, totally predictable, and always available. When they text you, your heart rate doesn't skip a beat. In fact, you might even feel a little bit bored. You start to judge yourself. You wonder if you're broken. You ask yourself why you keep chasing the person who treats you like an afterthought while ignoring the person who treats you like a priority. You aren't broken, and you aren't secretly addicted to drama. The truth is, your brain is running a highly efficient, ancient biological survival algorithm, and a toxic relationship is the ultimate exploitation of that code. Let's go! To understand this internal trap, we have to look at how your brain handles pleasure. We assume dopamine is released when we get what we want. It isn't. Dopamine is the molecule of anticipation. It's the chemical of seeking, not satisfaction. And your brain budgets its dopamine based entirely on predictability. In the mid-20th century, behavioral psychologist B.F. Skinner ran a famous series of experiments with pigeons and rats. In the first test, he put a rat in a box with a lever. Every single time the rat pressed the lever, a pellet of food dropped out. Predictable, steady, 100% reliable. Eventually, the rat learned the rule, ate until it was full, and went to sleep. It didn't obsess over the lever because there was zero mystery. The reward value was entirely budgeted. This is the healthy, consistent partner. They are the reliable lever. Your brain knows exactly what it's going to get, so it turns down the chemical volume. It enters battery saver mode. But then, Skinner changed the rules. He altered the machine so that when the rat pressed the lever, food came out randomly. Sometimes it dropped a pellet on the first press. Sometimes it took 10 presses. Sometimes it took 20. Scientists call this a variable schedule of reinforcement, or an intermittent reward. The result was staggering. The rats didn't walk away. Instead, they became completely maniacally obsessed. They stood at the lever, pressing it compulsively, ignoring their sleep, their grooming, and their health. The unpredictability transformed a boring mechanical function into a high-stakes, hyper-focused addiction. Because the reward was a surprise, every single successful press triggered a massive, unbudgeted flood of pure dopamine. The highs were astronomically higher because they were paid for by the anxiety of the lows. When someone treats you well one day, giving you validation, attention, or affection, and then completely withdraws the next, they are transforming themselves into a human slot machine. Your brain becomes chemically trapped in the gap between the risk and the reward. Why would evolution build a brain that falls for this glitch? Because in the ancient world, unpredictability was the default setting of nature. If our ancestors only looked for food in places where it was 100% guaranteed, they would have starved the moment a seasonal shift occurred. Evolution needed to build a creature that would obsessively pursue a resource precisely because it was scarce and unpredictable. If a bush only grows berries 10% of the time, the brain needs to release a massive chemical incentive to keep you returning to that bush over and over again to ensure the tribe's survival. Your Paleolithic threat and asset computer doesn't realize it's living in 2026. It doesn't know that the scarce resource is a decent human being. It just sees an unpredictable environment and says, we must conquer this asset at all costs. You aren't chasing the toxic person because you love the toxicity. You are chasing them because your ancient neural circuitry has mistaken their emotional absence for an environmental asset you haven't secured yet. So how do you break the loop? How do you step away from the slot machine? The next time you feel that heavy, anxious pull towards someone who pulls away from you, stop looking at it as proof of true love or cosmic chemistry. Recognize the neural hijack for what it actually is. Your brain is running an old resource algorithm designed to keep you foraging in the wild. To beat the system, you have to consciously reframe the data. Predictability isn't boring, it's safe. Unpredictability isn't exciting, it's a design flaw in a primitive meat computer. You aren't a bad judge of character. You just have a beautifully engineered mind that is waiting to be surprised. Step out of the casino, let the broken machine go, and watch your internal peace come rushing right back.